So this is just a standard 33 gallon long. It's on the top of my 20 long rack here, and I'm replacing 3 20 longs with 2 33 longs as soon as I can find another 33 long. But this one's going to be shell dwellers. It's going to be pretty straightforward, sand, rocks, maybe some plants. I'm going to use a Hamburg Matten filter on here because I'm not using any in the fish room, and I do like to have one of all types to show on camera. So yes, I have a canister filter, and if you follow this channel, you know I hate them. But I do have one because it's important to have all types so you can compare it, answer questions, things like that. And I really like Hamburg Matten filters. If you're unfamiliar with an HMF filter, basically you have your uptake pipe in the back of the sponge here that covers the whole side, and then it'll kind of squirt through the top there and suck water in through the foam pad. It's pretty neat. Now this one specifically is for a 20 long, so it is like 1.5 inches shorter than the tank, but that doesn't really matter. You won't be able to see it. Now I will have to clean up the glass a little bit, but I'll do that after the water is in there because a lot of this stuff you're not going to see once it's full of water, so why waste the time? But first things first, I got to get some sand in here, and that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so the sand I am using is just medium commercial Secrete sand from Home Depot. It is excellent. It comes pre-washed. You can kind of see it there. It's pretty dark in here. I have to turn all the lights off, otherwise there'd be just a ton of glare. But like I said, it comes pre-washed, it's small. This is used, so it is going to be a little dirty. So pro tip, go to any co-op supply, bird feed store, etc., and get yourself a scoop like this. It works really well for aquarium substrate, better than I've seen people use nets. I've used nets. The dustpan method, I've used that too. But this just makes it easier because this is basically what it's made for. Alright, now I personally love deep sand beds for multis because when the males are courting or guarding their area, it is absolutely hilarious to watch. You'll get males that will pick up the sand and spit it on the other male's shells, try to cover it up. It's just absolutely hilarious. They're goofballs. The deeper the sand bed, the more fun you're gonna have. There'll be just piles over here, and then the next day there'll be piles over here. They're just so fun. I can't believe I've gone this long without keeping any. And I'm really excited to get back into Lake Tanganyika fish in general. So Neolamprologus are from Lake Tanganyika, and if you're unfamiliar with Lake Tanganyika, it is one of my all-time favorite biotopes. It's one of the oldest lakes in the world. It's the second largest lake in the world. If I remember correctly, it's almost 5,000 feet deep, which is pretty bonkers. There's over 350 species of fish in it, and like 98% of them are endemic to just Lake Tanganyika. So that's really cool. Now, the lake is like liquid rock. It's probably about as close as any freshwater lake is going to get to saltwater. There's actually plankton that live in it, which is kind of neat. And it's just a really fascinating area that I hope I can visit before my time on this earth is over. I would love to go there. So this is nice and deep. It's a little shallow over here, and we get about 3 inches all the way up to 4 inches on this side. So that should be pretty good. So like I said, this filter is a little too narrow. So I'm going to use this rock to kind of snug it up in here. Make sure it doesn't fall down. That should be good. Normally that would fit nice and snug in there if it was actually the correct size. Now the rock I'm using is called Mexican pot rock. I just get it from a local landscaping yard. I think right around here. We'll kind of use this one as a cave. Shellies do not need caves. They will spawn in shells. But I still like the idea of having caves, so we're going to put that there like so. But look at this piece. This is really cheap. It's basically just lava rock. And you can search through their piles and get some really nice looking pieces. This one I think I'm going to stick the bigger side up over here in the corner, like so. Scatter this around in there. Alright, so that's going to do it for the hardscape. Just really simple. A couple of rocks. All they want is sand, and they'll be happy. So the rocks are kind of more for me and my own personal aesthetics, I guess. And I'm probably going to steal some of this dwarf chainsword down here and put it in here, and I know they're going to dig it up. I'm not new to that. Not worried about it. Eventually it will root and they won't be able to dig it up once it starts spreading runners. And I'm not going to lie, I really like this cave. I think it's going to turn out really nice. So here's the holding tank. They've been in about a month. As you can see, scattered with shells, and I would say there's maybe 20 of them in there. Just a really cool fish, one of the smallest cichlids in the world, right around 1.5 inches, give or take a little bit for males versus females. Not generally aggressive towards each other. I mean, the males will kind of spar every once in a while, but they are highly aggressive towards other fish. They are very ballsy fish. There's a documentary on Lake Tanganyika where they actually catch one of these fish attacking an alligator. So yeah, there's alligators there too. I mean, the Lake Tanganyika is just awesome. You should research it if you haven't. But it's time to steal all their shells and move them over. So I did decide to fill this up with water first because there's a good chance of once I move the shells over that there's eggs and or possibly fry in them, and that would not be good to move them in a tank with no water. So I do got to get some safe in there, just dechlorinator, just a little bit, that's good enough. So now I'm just gonna wait to fill this up and we'll start moving them in. All right, here we go, full. We got the HMF filter going, got some really nice flow. I love it. You can see all the bubbles moving around. That's gonna be excellent. Since I did fill this up with hose water though, it's coming out at about 68 degrees. So I've got 2 heaters in there and it's gonna take about an hour. I just need it to get to about 75. That's about how warm the fish room is, which makes the water 75 degrees. So that's what they're used to. But I'm gonna take a break, eat some lunch. By the time I get back, this should be about 75 and perfect. Well, it's gonna be instant for you. I don't know why I always say that, but whatever. All right, as you can see, they're all settled in, seem to be doing well. They're already fighting over shells. These 2 shells that I got from the beach are actually quite popular. I've been seeing them fight over these quite a bit over the last couple hours. Now, one thing I want to talk about are the parameters of Lake Tanganyika. It's a very, very big lake. It does have very hard water, 9.5 pH. But not everywhere is like that. There's actually some bogs and marshes in Lake Tanganyika with lower pH. But the reason I want to bring this up is I've actually had people refuse to sell me Tanganyikan fish because my pH was not 9.5, which is just bonkers. These fish are bred and raised in the US. They have never been to Lake Tanganyika. They have never experienced Tanganyikan water parameters. So don't feel like you have to replicate that 9.5 pH. A stable pH is way more important than a high pH or the quote-unquote correct pH. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. My water here runs around 7 pH. There's some fry in here and they're all doing well. So not something to be too concerned over, but obviously know the parameters that you're getting them from, because you don't want to buy some from someone whose water might be 9.5 pH and then throw them in your soft Seattle water and have them go into osmotic shock. Don't do that. Keep an eye on things. But again, the hardcore Tanganyikan nerds do get angry if you don't keep them at that 9.5 pH, but I have found with this fish, not a big deal at all. Now, there's just one more thing left to do, and you might be thinking, some of you might be thinking, hey, where's the beneficial bacteria? You just set this up, you already have fish in there. We're gonna have to put in a seeded sponge filter in here for a little bit until we get some beneficial bacteria growing in the substrate, the decor, and most importantly, the Hamburg Matten filter over here. So I am gonna grab a sponge filter and throw it in there. Well, there we go. Now that I've mucked up my water with this dirty old sponge filter, this is the best way to instantly seed your aquarium. I do not subscribe to that snake oil of bacteria in a bottle. It makes no sense to me, and maybe I'm just ignorant to it, but I don't know. I don't know how live bacteria lives with 0 oxygen. I don't know. That's how your tanks crash when you lose power, right? Your oxygen levels go down, all your beneficial bacteria dies, and so do your fish. So I don't know. I don't really get it. Maybe there's some science there, but like I said, maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know, but I don't trust it. I've never had good luck with it. To me, this is by far and away the best way to instantly cycle a new aquarium. And I'll probably keep it in there for about 2 weeks, and then we should be good to go. And till then, I'm just gonna let everything kind of chill out. I know I was gonna add plants in here, but I kind of like the way it looks. I might, you know, at a later date add some plants, but right now, I'm just gonna keep it like this. The fish are enjoying it, I am enjoying it, and I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. So I think I'm gonna keep this a species only tank. If this was like a 55 gallon and I had that extra space in the water column, I'd probably throw in some sips or some parasips just to get some activity towards the top there, but it's only 12 inches tall minus a couple inches from the substrate. So I think it's best to keep it species only. Plus I kind of want to turn this into a breeding fish for profit series. They are communal spawners, so you don't have to remove fry. They all raise up to fry. It's actually really cool and really fun to watch. And they're very popular, and I think, you know, breeding these for profit, you may not make profit, but at least it'll bring in some extra income for the hobby, right? It gets kind of expensive. Check out the affiliate links below. You'll save some money. I'll make a couple dollars. It's a win-win-win situation. We all win. So go buy fish, and you know, make sure you're subscribed and comment and blah 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 to make sure you get updates on this tank and the other you know, tanks in the fish room. Whatever. Just do it. And I'll see you in the next video.